Hello, and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Remember that one test in school? The one that felt like your entire future depended on it? Sweaty palms, the clock ticking ominously, the sea of bubbles you had to fill in perfectly. We've all been there. But have you ever stopped to wonder what goes into making these tests? And what happens when you scale them up to cover not just your school or your country, but the entire planet? Today, we're diving deep into the architecture of evaluation, a journey into the surprisingly complex and controversial world of standardized testing. So what even is a standardized test? At its heart, it's an instrument of measurement, meticulously designed using the science of psychometrics. Think of it like a very carefully built ruler. For this ruler to be any good, it needs three things. First, it needs to be reliable. If you measure the same thing twice, you should get the same result. A reliable test means if you took it on Monday and then again on Tuesday, without learning anything new, your score would be pretty much the same. Second, it needs validity. This is crucial. A valid test actually measures what it claims to measure. You wouldn't use a thermometer to measure your height, right? In the same way, a math test that accidentally measures reading speed more than math skills isn't very valid. And third, you need standardization. This just means everyone takes the test under the same conditions, same instructions, same time limit, same scoring method. It's about creating a level playing field. Now let's take this concept global. Meet the big three: the World Cup of Education, PISA, TIMSS, and PIRLS. First up is PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment. Every 3 years, it tests 15-year-olds in reading, math, and science. But PISA isn't just about what you've memorized from a textbook. It's about applying that knowledge to real-world problems. Then there's TIMSS, which stands for Trends in International Mathematics and Science Study. It's been checking in on 4th and 8th graders every 4 years since 1995, focusing more on how well students have learned the curriculum taught in their schools. Finally, we have PIRLS, which assesses the reading skills of 4th graders. This is a critical age when kids switch from learning to read to reading to learn. Together, these three tests give us a panoramic snapshot of education all over the world. And the results of these global tests, they don't just sit in a report. They make waves, big ones. For example, when Estonia saw its PISA results, it spurred major education reforms, leading to huge improvements. Singapore consistently uses its top-tier TIMSS performance to fine-tune its curriculum and teacher training. On the other hand, PISA results revealed a deep learning crisis in Latin America, pushing for urgent changes in teaching policies away from rote memorization. In South Africa, TIMSS results have been used to set national achievement targets and even led to a new framework to combat school bullying, which the test data brought to light. But it's not all positive report cards. This is where the debate gets heated. Critics argue that the intense focus on these tests can narrow the curriculum. If it's not on the test, does it get taught? It also leads to teaching to the test, where the goal becomes acing the exam, not deep, creative understanding. It brings to mind a quote often attributed to Albert Einstein: "Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." And what about the human cost? The high-stakes pressure can cause immense stress and anxiety for students. Studies have shown that cortisol levels, the stress hormone, spike in students during these tests, which can actually hurt their performance. Teachers feel it too, with their job performance often tied to student scores, leading to burnout and a stressful classroom environment. Proponents, like the OECD, which runs PISA, argue the data is invaluable for finding and fixing inequalities in education. As one parent advocate put it, "If I don't have testing data, I am not able to intervene and say there is a problem." So you have this huge debate: are these tests a vital tool for improvement, or a flawed system that harms learning. The truth, as is often the case, is somewhere in the middle. So where do we go from here? The future of assessment is moving beyond just filling in bubbles. A new wave of more holistic methods is gaining ground. Imagine performance-based assessments, where instead of a multiple-choice test, a student has to conduct an experiment, write a research paper, or build a project. Or portfolios, where students compile a collection of their best work over time, showing their growth and fostering a sense of ownership. And get this, game-based assessments. Yes, using the engaging power of video games to measure complex skills like problem-solving and critical thinking, all while reducing that dreaded test anxiety. Technology, with AI-driven adaptive testing that adjusts question difficulty in real time, is also set to revolutionize how we measure learning. Standardized tests, born from psychology, have become a massive force in global education. They offer powerful insights, but also come with serious challenges and controversies. The future, it seems, isn't about getting rid of tests entirely, but about building a more balanced, humane, and multifaceted approach. An approach that values not just what students know, but what they can do with that knowledge, preparing them for a world that demands more than just a correct answer. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. We'll see you next time.